third quarter, critical play, goal line play, okay? Jimmy Garoppolo and these guys score on the ensuing play, but there were 10 men on the field for the defense, okay? Critical mistake by Chris Tabor, who special teams coordinator, but is acting head coach for that time. Post-presser, watching the game, watching the post-presser, right?
Here comes a communication point.
Post-presser, a reporter asked him about the situation. He was direct. He was succinct. He didn't say he had to go back and watch the tape. He owned it very quickly, and that's on me, and we move forward. It was just such a dichotomy of the way I've seen press conferences handled before by Matt Nagy. Now, that's just the coaching aspect of it. The Justin Fields, how he looked more comfortable on the field. You know, he was more of himself, best game pretty much of his young career thus far. You know, I don't know how much of that is without having Matt Nagy in the field, but the combination of both those things together, it makes you as a Chicago Bears fan sit there and say, okay, I kind of like this direction more so than the other direction. That's just me.
I don't, in press conferences, I don't care about press conferences, right? I just care about how the young man performed yesterday without Nagy there. You know, is it a coincidence? I mean, look, he had shy under 300 yards of total offense. He had the one turnover. But for the most part, when you think about it, he played pretty good football. He played winning football. And I'm sure once they go back and look at the tape, they'll see some things that they left out there that he could have probably hit on, and he'll be better for it. You know, Matt Nagy's just got to continue to keep chopping at it, got to look at the film, look at the tape, see what it was that made Justin play at the level that he played at, and try to implement that going forward. And that's really all it is. This is not an assault, all-out assault on Matt Nagy at all. I don't want to turn it into that.
I have a question about what Jay points out, though, Key, because to me, I also think, like, wait a minute. Who cares how he relates to us in the media? What's that got to do with the team, right? Is there, though, a correlation? Because clearly, I think in Jay's experience, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jay, there seems to be a correlation, at least, between the way a coach deals with the media, whether he's a good or bad communicator, whether he's straightforward or kind of mealy-mouthed, and the kind of performance he gets from his team, the kind of coach he is. Because Jay is, to me, making that connection. In your experience, is there any connection there?
Well, what I would say is, based on the little bit of information that I get out of Chicago, is the players like him in the locker room. His communication with the players is different than his communication with the media. You know, that's all I can really go off of is actually the players. People seem to think that the players like him in the locker room.
So, Jay, does that change your mind at all? If aren't there some coaches who maybe they're not perfect with the media, but that does not reflect the way they communicate with their team? Are you drawing inferences that maybe shouldn't be drawn here?
Every player is happy with him in the locker room?
Well, I'm sure not every player is happy with every coach.
That's not the case. So, like, you know, I hear what Key is saying and I'm not turning this into a Matt Nagy assault. But when you're in Chicago, when you have a quarterback with the way everything has happened this year, it's something that we're constantly going to talk about. We talked about it before the game even occurred on Sunday last week, that what happens if Justin Fields plays his best game, even though they didn't win, while Matt Nagy's not there. Well, that has happened. And there are things that, even though they've been done one way by Matt Nagy, when you see it done a different way, it just gives you that pause. Now, it may not be something alarming to Key, but even the fact that we're thinking about it, that we're talking about it, makes it a story.
Jay just told on himself a little bit, Key.
What about what? What did he say?
He just told on himself a little bit. When Jay goes, are you sure every player is happy with him in the locker room?
Well, no, every player is never going to be happy. Every player is never going to be happy with an organization.
Key, when this whole narrative starts, like, the players like him in the locker room.
Jay's talking to someone.
I'm like, okay.
Jay's talking to someone.
Everybody
Jay's
knows
hearing
every
something.
player. I didn't say every single player because I'm smarter than that. But people inside the locker room, we've had people on that's in Chicago covering the Bears that actually said that, in fact, that players in the locker room, they like him. They just, for whatever reason, we look at him and go, man, what are you talking about? But I also understand that sometimes when you deal with the media, we can tend to be petty and pick apart every single thing that you do because we want it a certain way when you stand up there and you talk to us, and that's not the way Matt Nagy has been giving it to us. In terms of the coincidence that Nagy's gone, Justin plays better than he has is interesting. But Matt Nagy now has to, like I said, he now has to go and see what it was that made Justin play that way and implement that into whatever game plan it is moving forward. Don't go back to doing the same things. Whoever was calling the plays, whoever coached him up, whoever was in his ear telling him to do certain things, they need to continue to have that person do that.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.